We have come to current times where day or night, light is glaring in our eyes, regardless of whether there is a full moon. I think a great many people who live in metropolitan regions today don't see it. How might you miss a full moon? Isn't it adequately large and sufficiently brilliant? Various places of the moon affect human physiology and mental makeup. In India, consistently is counted and how the various places of the moon can be utilized for human prosperity is an exceptionally settled piece of the way of life. The various positions are utilized for various purposes. A ton of things occur between the full moon to the new moon and back again to the full moon. To do anything with yourself, it would be valuable to know about where the moon is on the grounds that it makes various kinds of characteristics and energies in the framework. Assuming that one knows, one could utilize it. Each period of the moon, you can either look into overhead and notice it, but on the other hand, in the event that you bring a specific degree of mindfulness and discernment to your framework, you will see the body act somewhat contrastingly for each stage. It is a lot of there both in the male and the female body, yet it is more manifest in the female body. The timing with which the moon circumvents the planet and the cycles that people themselves go through inside themselves and the actual course of human birth, the most common way of making this body, are profoundly associated. Since the moon impacts our everyday existence in the Eastern societies, especially in India, we drew two sorts of schedules. For everyday issues, we have a sun-powered schedule. For the wide range of various emotional parts of our life, which isn't data or a method, yet something live, we have a lunar schedule. For the most part, the impact of the moon is viewed as nonsensical. In the West, anything irrational got marked as frenzy or madness. In the English language, the moon is alluded to as lunar. In the event that you make a stride further, you come to neurotic. In any case, in Indian culture, we generally saw the limits of rationale. Rationale is exceptionally helpful to lead the material part of your life. If you have any desire to carry on with work or fabricate a house, you must be coherent. In any case, there is an aspect past rationale, without which the emotional aspects can never be gotten to. As one moves from the estimations of the coherent psyche to natural perspectives on, the moon turns out to be more significant. Luna basically signifies moon. However, it likewise implies that you have created some distance from rationale. On the off chance that you have gotten away from rationale, in the event that your framework isn't deep-rooted, you will move towards craziness. Yet, assuming that you are deep-rooted, you will move into instinctive discernment. The moon is a reflection. You can see the moon since it mirrors the daylight. In individual or human, discernment is likewise reflection. Assuming you see something besides the reflection, that implies you are not seeing reality. Any discernment is really a reflection. Furthermore, as reflection is the idea of the moon, the more deeply impression of life have forever been represented with the moon. So twilight and enchantment have been vigorously associated wherever on the planet. To represent this association, Shiva, the Adiyogi wore a piece of the moon on his head as his decoration. The yogic sciences and yogic way were additionally organized this way. The underlying few stages are 100% coherent. The lower rungs of yoga are extremely intelligent and sun-arranged. There is no space for anything more. In any case, as you move higher, it creates some distance from rationale and goes into regions which are absolutely nonsensical. Rationale must be discarded on the grounds that that is how life and creation is organized. So the moon turns out to be vital. At the point when we start, we are on the sun. At the point when the sun is on, everything is unmistakable and obvious. At the point when the moon is on, everything gets stirred up. You don't have the foggiest idea what's going on with everything. This is the main way any science can occur. Assuming that you take a gander at current science, which is still in its outset really, exactly the same thing is going on. They were 100% sensible to begin with. After they made a couple of strides, presently, they are gradually becoming irrational. The physicists are nearly talking like spiritualists. They are starting to talk a similar language since this is the main way it can go. on the grounds that that is how creation is. Assuming you investigate the creation, that is the way it will be. Indeed, the moon isn't simply a stone in space. It does many astounding things. First of all, it illuminates our evening. At the point when the sun disappears, the moon dominates. And that is the reason we have moonlight. It's not quite so brilliant as the sun, but rather seeing things and have a good sense of reassurance in the dark is sufficient. The moon additionally gets across the sky, changing its shape. In some cases, it seems to be a major round paisa and different times. It's simply a little bit. This is a direct result of how the daylight beams on it. We refer to these progressions as periods of the moon, and they're similar to the moon's temperaments. Individuals have even ventured out to the moon. They went there in exceptional rockets and they strolled on its surface. Envision that. It's like visiting an alternate world. Yet all the same, it's truly near our own. The moon likewise assumes a major part in the ocean. It pulls the water with its gravity, making tides. Tides resemble the ocean's delicate breathing, going in and out. Anglers and surfers like to monitor the tides to know the best opportunity to fish or catch waves. The spiritualist moon has propelled stories, melodies, and surprisingly, a few sorcery stories. Individuals gaze toward the moon and envision a wide range of things. They could see a face on the moon, or they could make up tales about what occurs up there. At the point when we consider it the spiritualist moon, we're saying it's a piece like wizardry. It's there each evening, making our reality somewhat more splendid and somewhat more fascinating. Like a companion never leaves. And it's the explanation we have those wonderful twilight evenings.